Real quick, 3 things. Look at your mouth. Which lip is fuller, top or bottom? Do your corners go up, down, or straight? And is your mouth wide across your face, or more compact? Got it? Good. Because you're about to fall into one of these 10 types. Most people are a mix, but one's going to hit different. Let's go. The icon. Top lip, bottom lip, equally full, smooth edges, nothing overblown. Basically, your mouth looks like it came pre-installed. And that's actually a superpower. In Chinese face reading, balance like this was directly tied to emotional stability and reliability. In Indian Samudrika Shastra, one of the oldest face reading systems on the planet, symmetry meant your temperament was steady, consistent, readable. Translation in plain English? Your face sends 0 mixed signals. People look at you and immediately know what you're feeling. No decoding required. You're basically the high-definition version of human expression. The downside, you can't hide much. Every emotion plays in 4K. But flip that around. In a world where people are constantly trying to figure out where they stand with someone, you're the rare person who makes others feel certain. And certainty? That builds trust faster than almost anything else. The sculptor. Upper lip more defined than the bottom. Cupid's bow so sharp it looks intentional. Almost architectural. Chinese face reading linked this shape directly to communication skill, specifically persuasion. Indian readings, articulation, the ability to choose words with precision. Here's what that looks like in real life. You don't need volume. You don't need big gestures. One raised eyebrow, a tiny smirk, half a smile. That's a full paragraph for you. You operate in micro-expressions, and people feel every single one of them. And there's something else. People with this shape tend to be remembered for what they said, not how loudly they said it. You leave quotes behind. The kind people repeat in conversations days later without remembering where they heard it. That's not an accident. That's the sculptor effect. The anchor. Lower lip is fuller. Upper lip sits lighter. The weight of your mouth lives at the bottom. Chinese face reading connected this shape to generosity and warmth. Indian traditions read it as nurturing, someone who makes people feel safe without even trying. And honestly, that tracks, because here's the thing about a fuller lower lip. It naturally softens the entire face, even at rest, even when you're not smiling, even when you're actively annoyed. You're the person strangers ask for directions, the one people open up to on the first conversation. You didn't choose it, your face just does it automatically. Think about how rare that actually is. Most people spend years trying to build approachability. Through body language training, communication courses, conscious effort, you're running it as a default setting. No maintenance required. The blade. Thin lips, minimal curve, low volume, straight line, barely any arch. This one gets misread constantly, so let's fix that right now. Chinese face reading saw thin lips as a marker of discipline and restraint. Indian systems linked it to focus and self-control. Not coldness, precision. Because here's the actual hidden advantage. You don't waste expression. Most people's faces are broadcasting constantly. Every micro-reaction, every flicker of doubt. You run tight. So when you do react, when you laugh, when you flinch, when you raise an eyebrow, it lands like a punctuation mark. You're not emotionally unavailable. You're emotionally efficient. The spotlight. Wide mouth, big smile. When you grin, it takes over your entire face like it was designed to be seen from the back row. Chinese readings linked wide mouths to confidence and leadership presence. Indian traditions, bold expression, natural authority. And there's a simple reason this works. Width triggers attention. Evolutionarily, humans are wired to notice movement across a wide field. Your smile activates that instinct. Walk into a room. Don't say anything. People will clock you first, every time. Your face doesn't communicate, it broadcasts. What's wild is that this works even in photographs. A wide, expressive mouth draws the eye in a group photo before anything else. You're the one people point to first, the one tagged first, the one noticed first. It's not vanity, it's just visual physics. The miniature. Small mouth relative to the face, Shorter width, subtle movement, Chinese face reading, carefulness and precision. Indian systems, refinement and restraint. Now here's where this gets interesting. Because a smaller mouth means your expressions are economical. You're not performing. You're not projecting. You move with intention. And that reads as calm, measured, even a little mysterious. You're the person in the meeting who barely reacts. And somehow that makes everything you do, say, feel more important. You control the room without looking like you're trying. That's not a small advantage, that's a massive one. Here's the kicker. Mystery is magnetic. When people can't fully read you, they lean in. They pay closer attention. They try harder to earn a reaction. You've essentially turned restraint into a gravitational pull without doing a single thing deliberately. The optimist. Corner of your lips tilt upward, naturally. At rest, you look like you're almost smiling even when you're completely neutral. Chinese face reading called this good fortune and positive energy. Indian traditions, warmth and natural approachability. But forget ancient systems for a second. Here's the cold social science of it. People make a trust judgment within 100 milliseconds of seeing a face. Upturned corners, subconscious green light, immediately. You haven't spoken, you haven't moved, you haven't done anything. And people already like you. That is a cheat code, and you've been running it your whole life without knowing it. The flip side, and this is worth knowing, is that people sometimes assume you're fine when you're not. Your neutral face reads as content. So if you're having a rough day, you may need to actually say it, because your face isn't giving that away for free. The strategist. Corners dip slightly at rest. Neutral face reads as serious, focused, like you're always thinking 3 moves ahead. Chinese systems linked this to introspection and depth. Indian readings, thoughtfulness and complexity. Here's what people get wrong about this type. They assume it's a disadvantage. It's not. Because while the optimist wins the first impression, the strategist wins the second one. When you do smile, it lands differently. It feels earned, like you actually mean it, like it wasn't given away for free. And that makes people work a little harder to get it from you. Which, whether you planned it or not, makes your approval worth more. The heart. Strong Cupid's bow. Defined dip in the center. The fullness lives right in the middle. Chinese face reading, charm and expressiveness. Indian traditions, romantic energy, artistic nature, creative communication. But here's the visual psychology behind it. The Cupid's bow pulls the eye to the center of the face. It creates a focal point. It draws attention inward. Which means when you speak, people aren't half listening. They're locked in. You're visually arresting without being loud about it, and you probably have no idea how often people are watching your mouth when you talk. This shape also tends to make emotions look more vivid. When you're happy, you look genuinely happy. When you're concerned, it reads immediately. Your face is basically a cinema screen. High contrast, high drama, impossible to look away from. The signature. One side of your mouth sits differently than the other. Your smile tilts. There's a slight, noticeable asymmetry. Both Chinese and Indian face-reading traditions interpreted asymmetry as complexity, someone who didn't fit neatly into one box. An unconventional path, a life that surprised people. And here's the thing nobody tells you. Perfect faces are forgettable. Seriously. Psychological research on facial memorability consistently shows that distinctive features make faces stick in memory longer. Asymmetry is distinctive. Your face has character. And character is exactly what people remember long after a conversation ends. You're not the default. And that's a feature, not a bug. Actors, artists, musicians. Some of the most iconic faces in history carry visible asymmetry. It's not despite that quality that they're remembered. It's partly because of it. There's something deeply human about imperfection. It signals a life actually lived. The mix. Here's the part nobody talks about. You're probably not just one. Most people land somewhere between 2, sometimes 3. Anchor plus optimist. Warm, magnetic, immediately trusted. Blade plus strategist, controlled, precise, quietly intimidating, heart plus spotlight. Expressive, charming, impossible to ignore, miniature plus sculptor. Precise, intentional, says little, means everything. Icon plus heart, balanced but vivid. The person the whole room gravitates toward without being able to explain why. Your combination is your real signature. So think about which two showed up strongest for you, because that's actually the most accurate read. Drop your type in the comments. And once you know yours, you'll start seeing everyone else's. Fair warning, you cannot unknow this. Like, subscribe and become a genius.